It was so prevalent in that small community, I cannot believe it was just available right there, around the corner.
Unity. There's nothing that develops a person's dreams, ideas. So the thing is, too, what we're looking at is not handing down.
I know from personal experience, I've seen a lot of children out there that are just lost, and I think in this town.
Over the last several decades, Rio Arriba County has grown from a rich agricultural breadbasket to a modern, bustling community. And like others, it has suffered through the transition from drug and alcohol dependency. The entire community is working to heal the wounds left from drug overdose and DWI deaths. And as County Health Director Lauren Reichelt notes, it hasn't been easy. But she's never given up hope.
People say that there hasn't been any change in this community. I've only lived here for 15 years, but in that 15 years, I've seen a tremendous amount of change. And the first and most basic change that I've seen is that there's a democracy here, and that people feel they can elect a government and that government can serve them, and that they can hold that government accountable and make it serve them, and if it doesn't, they can throw them out of office. And they're not afraid. And they're not afraid to tell the local government what it is they want them to do. And they've told us they want us to address the substance abuse problem. It means something to them. Their children are dying.
Cars, anything. I mean, I understand that.
It's hard to stay. It's hard to stay away.
I understand that. I don't have a place where I call home.
Reichelt and others working on the issue dismissed suggestions that addicts should be shipped out of the area. She believes they'll grow stronger facing their demons at home.
You can't just pull a person out of their culture and put them in a culture that's totally alien. You will kill them, and in a very slow and painful way. And so we're not interested in doing that. What we're interested in doing is to give people the strength and the skills that they need to go back into their community and to help to heal the community. So for each person in recovery, it's just very important that that person view themselves as an agent of change.
A community survey taken several years ago found inpatient treatment would be the most effective way out of addiction. But it has taken several more years to obtain federal, state, and county funding, totaling several $1 million, to rehabilitate this building, located north of Espanola, just a stone's throw away from the Rio Grande. Ben Tafoya is executive director of OI Recovery Program, contracted to manage the facility.
So to me, it's the beginning, and I think as we go along, we'll start seeing better outcomes. We start seeing more people in recovery, more people improving their quality of life. That should be our gauge. Do they improve their quality of life?
Tafoya describes the community integration program aimed at moving the client out of drug addiction and back into society.
You come in for 90 days, you have a 14-day orientation which focuses a lot on you and your needs, your employment needs, those kind of things. And then you're allowed to go out and look for work. But at the same time, you have that controlling environment because you have to come back to the program. You're going to be drug tested, you're going to be checked that you're not drinking. And so it transitions that person back into the community.
OI's recovery program is working. Tafoya and the board of directors recently celebrated 30 years of service to the Espanola Valley, with programs including detox and counseling services for men and women. Its mission is to strengthen individuals, families, and the community. For Carl Cordova, who admits to relapsing but who's been sober for several years, the program is a godsend.
So now that I'm living in the real world, that way I call it, I go everywhere, I talk to everybody, I'm not ignorant about why people are the way they are. I can associate with whoever I want, I can just go up to them and start talking. Yeah, my self-esteem is real high.
A key component of OI Recovery's program is an annual healing conference where clients and their families can learn about traditional and modern healing methods, including exposure to native dance.
So we bring the language as oral history as part of that healing through education. So it's important to hear once the more educated you are, the more you're able to get less hurt, and you're aware of health.
Roberto Mondragon is a former lieutenant governor of New Mexico and a noted cultural historian.
Hay un remedio muy bueno.
He shares his native dichos through song and the spoken word, focusing on herbs that heal.
When you learn how valuable some of these resources are, then you can get involved in those things instead of getting involved in something destructive like drugs.
Over at the Chimayo Boys and Girls Club, children are nurtured and engaged in play. Community leaders established the club as a refuge for kids where they could be safe from drug activity and where they can learn, too.
I mean, it's not just a club where kids go and have fun, have recreation. It's a club where there is some type of programming that is educating them on drug prevention. And that's why I think that that'll be probably one of our best tools that we can apply to our community at that age.
We've seen in this community people who love their family members so much that they were really afraid to talk about drugs, and they didn't want to talk about somebody being in rehab or somebody needing help or needing to go to jail because they had stolen from them. But, you know, what's happened is people in the churches have begun to pray, and as they've done that, it's been more open, and it's been okay to talk about drugs, and it's also then been okay to say, not in this community anymore.
That is where curanderismo begins. As curanderismo keeps going into the present state of New Mexico, you find out that it begins to evolve according to the...
Healing the adults in the community goes back to the tradition of curanderismo, or the art of healing, as taught in this conference by Dr. Larry Torres, a professor and writer of New Mexico culture. He says for complete rehabilitation, we have to accept our extreme behavior in order to separate ourselves from it.
Once you see how the negativity, the negative part of it, one extreme of it has affected you, then you can begin to let it go. Just let it go quietly. No big parades, no spectacle, the sky will not fall out, but you will notice that there is a change.
Curanderismo and other traditional healing methods will be combined with counseling and other modern-day tools at the new 24-bed managed care facility, where clients will get 24-hour care. Executive Director Ben Tafoya says the facility is like home, but without the drugs.
You know, so it does have that built-in healing atmosphere that we all look for. And if you look at it, it's just like a community. It'll be a model community in improving quality of life, which historically that's what most communities were.
Because everybody deserves a second chance, and I think if they have people that are willing to work with them and show them that they do have a second chance, it'll work.
Tim Morphine was born and raised in this valley. He's proud to have overseen the renovation of the rehabilitation center.
You know, the building was in real bad shape. You know, we fixed it. And it's a beautiful building.
I feel that at an earlier stage, I think we can educate these children that what their parents are doing at home is not acceptable, and it's something that has to go away, and they can't afford to live in that kind of environment.
It's an image thing, a positive image of themselves. By knowing through all of the culture and the folklore and the traditions and customs, by knowing through all of these things where they came from, they know where they are, and it helps them in their future.
I think it's great for them. I think it's wonderful. Anytime you can get the little ones involved in any kind of their history and their culture, you know, it's just a smart thing to do. That way nobody forgets, and we shouldn't forget our history, you know.
Dancing. What does that feel like when you're up there?
Happy.
But more than the multi-million-dollar investment in a new building, county commissioners like Elias Coriz believe it's the investment in the valley's children that's turning the community into a vibrant, healthy place to call home.
So what do we all say to drugs within our county?
No!
All right.
I'd say no because it'll make you weird. It'll make you like lose your mind.
It's not good to do drugs because it could get you very sick and you could die. And then you could like mess up your life a lot. You won't be able to have a perfect life because you're doing drugs. And if somebody offers me drugs, I'll say no. They could get you really sick and stuff, and sometimes they could kill you. Some people get sick and they die, and it's not safe for people because they can get into wrecks if they're doing drugs, and they can get thrown in jail and do something to somebody, hurt somebody.
Me traen tus mentiras, como cuestan lágrimas de una traición. No más por quererte dejé yo mi casa, dejé padre y madre por seguirte a ti. Por solo tu culpa me hundí en la desgracia y el cielo